Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Hello everyone, hello mga katribu, I'm Tina Marali.
And I'm Confi Manalo.
I am Raymund Velasco.
And this is
Straight Talk.
So, good morning mga partners.
Good morning, partners. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You are wearing blue on your birthday?
Siyempre, katribo.
Okay, tribu.
Yeah.
Oo nga.
So today we'll have a very interesting discussion. And this is something na I'm sure everyone watching us will benefit from, especially in this time of a pandemic na ang mga face-to-face interactions and even transactions are limited or
Discouraged.
masabi natin, discouraged or sa ngayon non-existent.
At saka,
so kailangan contactless. Diba?
Very timely rin yung topic natin ngayon is about MSME. Kasi ito naman yung pinupush ngayon ng gobyerno. Kasi yung MSME talaga sila yung backbone of the economy.
Yes.
In fact, they comprise 98% of all industries. Pre-pandemic, I don't know ngayon kung anong figure, baka pwedeng bumaba, pwedeng tumaas kasi marami rin nagsara sa kanila. And personal advocacy ng Daily Tribune, ito yung corporate natin, one of our corporate initiatives natin is to help promote yung local industries. Kaya nga 'di ba, yung management, we are being encouraged to always buy local. Kung meron namang local brand, let's buy that. And yung topic natin ngayon, we will interview one of the pillars. Actually, we can say that pillars kasi they are a fintech company na directly providing the tools sa mga MSME to help them widen their market reach, and at the same time mabigyan sila ng access sa mga financial facilities,
which is virtually hassle-free.
Hassle-free.
And halos effortless.
Seamless transactions.
Yeah.
At the comfort of your home or anywhere, pwede kang mag-transact kahit nasa beach ka eh.
Habang nag-chill ka lang, di ba? So, pakilala mo na yung special guest natin.
Yeah, today we are lucky. Ito, biglaan nga to. Kagabi ko lang to, kahapon ko lang ito kinulit. Buti pumayag. Si Mr. Raymund Villanueva. He is the director and head of Paymayas QR ecosystem. So, good morning, Mr. Raymond.
Good morning, sir.
Napakagandang umaga. Good morning to you guys. Happy birthday, Ma'am Tina.
Sir, we talked about MSMEs, no? So, what is the product management team currently working on in terms of servicing those MSMEs po?
So, gaya nga ng sabi nyo kanina, yung backbone talaga ng economy natin is really on the MSMEs. And PayMaya, as a Filipino fintech, actually Pinoy-made po kami, founder namin Pinoy. Lahat ng mga, I guess, our headquarters is Pinoy. So, very close to our heart ang talagang pagbangon ng Pilipinas. Pag-bounce back nga, sabi ng mga tao. So, with that in mind, we actually moved some of our products forward. Ang pillar product namin for the MSMEs is what we call PayMaya Negosyo. It's actually a mobile app really built to help the MSMEs bounce back. So, madaming features and things doon, pero si PayMaya Negosyo just allows, I guess, the MSMEs to accept cashless payments as one, and then the next one is really to be able to give them extra kita or give them capabilities to earn extra income. Na alam naman natin kung gaano ka-importante ngayon ang extra income at ang pag-move to cashless. Si cashless kasi, what we've seen is that dati ang push namin sa cashless, it's the most convenient. Pero ngayon, ang iba na eh. Cashless equals contactless equals the safest way to pay also.
Exactly.
So, yun, napakadaming benefits for the businesses. At ngayon, lahat ng mga programa namin, the things that we're working on with the government, with DTI, with Go Negosyo, and all the other programs that we're looking to bounce back the economy, helping businesses to do e-commerce, will really flow in to our PayMaya Negosyo product, which is a mobile app ngayon, which makes it a little bit easier to become a PayMaya merchant.
Yeah. You said it's easy to become a PayMaya merchant, no? How fast is the adoption po?
Well, we launched it siguro mga couple of months ago, and medyo pa ganun. Definitely there's a lot of people jumping into the cashless, I wouldn't say trend, kasi sa totoo lang, I think this is fast becoming the next normal. We all thought na parang it's gonna take around 4 to 5 years to really have this type of adoption. Yun nga lang, unluckily, medyo nagka-crisis tayo, nagka-COVID tayo, and we all saw the shift towards cashless become a sharp rise.
Yeah.
Within the past 6 months, we saw the transactions grow almost 2x, and talagang sobrang bilis ng adoption. I would liken it to a story na lang. Dati, ang nanay ko, talagang ayaw mag-cashless. Talagang ingrained sa kanya, gusto kong bumisita ng bangko, gusto kong bumili, gusto kong mahawakan. Ngayon, since she's a little bit more senior, talagang hindi na lumalabas. Pero pag gumamit naman sa shopping, grabe, every single day may binibili sa mga MSMEs. Tuwang-tuwa naman ngayon sa online shopping.
Yung talking about adoption, no? Kasi marami na rin kami nakausap na mga fintech companies, and all of them are saying na although the pandemic has affected the economy, pero it has allowed us to fast track yung adoption ng digital lifestyle. And based on your estimate, yung adoption ng Go Negosyo, digital, is abutin kayo ng 5 years, diba? Estimate nyo. Pero ngayon, tingnan nyo, 4 to 6 months, mataas since your launch, malaki yung yung mataas yung response lalo sa mga merchants. So, yung ako, MSME ako, small businessman ako. How can I benefit from this Go Negosyo?
So from the PayMaya negosyo, the big benefits here is really the early adoption of going cashless. A lot of people before really didn't have such a big motivation to go cashless. The reason behind that is the whole economy was moving on cash. The moment the lockdown happened, the whole motivation to go cashless became such a big push. We call it nga ngayon, cashless is now a necessity. Before, it's more of like a convenience, there's rewards, it's a lot more convenient than going cash, but now it became a necessity. When we talk about adoption, every big trend or every Black Swan event, I was in a talk with Donald Lim yesterday with DTI and Go Negosyo, and he said something very unique. Sabi niya, every Black Swan event changes the way we move or changes the way we do things. So in 9/11, nag-change the way we travel in aviation. With COVID naman, it changes the way we interact and we buy things. Kasi the whole e-commerce trend is happening here in the Philippines, and cashless is here to stay. Let me do a quick example. The reason why China's adoption to e-commerce sharply rose, I think it was a couple of years ago, was really due to a pandemic as well. It was actually due to the SARS pandemic. Kaya ngayon nakita mo si China quickly just bounced back with their economy because most of the transactions, most Chinese are already doing cashless transactions. Ngayon are doing e-commerce and cashless transactions. That same trend is happening in the Philippines right now. And for me, my advice to MSMEs is you have to be able to adapt and pivot quickly. Because quite honestly, this is what's going to happen moving forward. The trends that we're seeing right now will continue to move forward, not just for this year, but for every year moving forward.
Yeah. Having said that, sir, can you give an insight into the post-crisis consumer in terms of the cultural shifts that drives their consumer behavior and thoughtful spending, sir?
Yeah, so there's a couple of trends that we're starting to see come into play. We picked it up from Nielsen, but also from our normal behavior. The first one I'm saying is that cashless will become the norm. It's a necessity. So everybody is transacting into it. If you are not offering cashless solutions or payment solutions, then you're probably missing a little bit of the what's happening now. And you're also missing out learning on how to do it in the future. So that's the first one. The second one is e-commerce will come a critical play. And we talk about e-commerce in a way na talagang it's the way we do things right now. If you look at every order that I did within the past 3 months, lahat yan galing sa chat, galing sa Viber groups, galing sa Facebook Messenger. And we're starting to see that the e-commerce in the Philippines moves a lot differently than I guess what China was doing and what the US was doing. And that's what we call naman conversational commerce. Yung second trend that's happening right now, e-commerce in the Philippines will move towards more of a chat e-commerce type. Yung parang, yung HM po will now come into play moving forward. And bulk of the orders will really just come out from your phone. The next trend of what we're seeing naman more into retail is that people are bulk ordering because they want less trips, they want less movements. So when they buy things, talagang either, it's 1 gallon of alcohol versus before na talagang pa-isa-isang alcohol. So that's one retail trend naman that we're seeing. So e-commerce on the rise, people are bulk ordering, etc. And then if you're an MSME naman, which is the last trend that we're seeing, the masses will have even tighter budgets. And I don't think it's just the masses. It's everybody will be a lot more focused on the value story. Before, there was a lot of push and experience, but now value for money has a totally different meaning. Kasi ang value for money now is a lot more ingrained in terms of survival, in terms of being able to continue running your own business, but also being able to continue feeding your family and being able to do that. So if I were to look at MSMEs, and the biggest advice that I do is go online, look for products and services that are still valuable today. This whole thing will not probably go back to normal for another 12 months. So be ready to pivot, be ready to do those things. And then the last piece of advice that I just mentioned earlier is to make sure that you're also operating in a very tight budget. Because right now, every customer is critical, the movement of money is tight. And sad to say, it's really the norm. That's what's happening right now. So I guess those are the big trends that we're seeing. It's also was discussed in all the webinars that I joined and all the webinars that I talked in.
So sir, with all this, with all these trends na nabanggit mo, syempre kailangan dyan, like with the merchants that are using PayMaya, yung sa mga trends na nabanggit mo, where does PayMaya come into play? Do you have any initiatives to somehow help boost the merchants, the MSMEs that are using your platform?
Well, that's a very good question, and thank you for that. So, focus talaga ni PayMaya is on the MSME bounce back, right? It's always ingrained in PayMaya na parang we're making sure that every consumer, merchant, enterprise thrives in the new digital economy of the Philippines. So when we talk about what products and services that we have for PayMaya, our merchant business is really built to help the next or the new digital economy of the Philippines. That allows merchants to be able to accept all forms of payments. So yung transition of us going into cashless payments, digital payments, nandiyan si PayMaya to help you do that. But more than that, we also give all the merchants the learnings that we picked up from all the enterprise merchants that we have. Ano ba ang ginagawa ng mga lalaking merchants? Ano ba ang ginagawa ng mga kapwa nyo merchants in being able to survive and thrive? We share those learnings to all the other merchants that we have because every single one of these merchants has a job or has a chance in being able to help out the bigger economy. The last ones is we will be coming out with PayMaya Negosyante Rewards. Ibig sabihin lang yan, lahat ng MSMEs that has a PayMaya Negosyo Merchant account, we will be coming back with a little bit of incentives, a little bit of helping them learn how to do cashless. What that looks like, just watch out for PayMaya's announcements, but definitely we're focusing on PayMaya Negosyantes, how to be able to enable them to move into e-commerce, give them a little bit of incentives to help them out, and give them the extra income as I was talking about kanina. PayMaya Negosyantes really need to have extra sources of income, whether it's becoming a smart padala, selling load, becoming a bills pay center, or being able to accept cashless payments, and then obviously our rewards program. So yun yung 3 pillars namin of our PayMaya Negosyante program.
So, ang dami pa natin itatanong kay Sir.
Very interesting yung topic.
Kaya hindi ako masyadong sasalita kaya I was just intently listening kasi I'm just soaking it all in. But, bago tayo mag-discussion pa further, Straight Talk, we'll be right back after the short break.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders. The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can...
Shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets na pink yung sofa, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang, okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... Fiancé ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami mag-deliver.
Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
And we're back here on Straight Talk. I think si Comfy may follow-up question.
Yeah, before nag-break, diba, Mr. Raymond was discussing yung about cashless transactions and how PayMaya is doing its what it can to help yung bounce back ng MSMEs. Diba? And everything should be allowed or to have the capacity or the tools to accept cashless transactions.
Yes.
Now talking about cashless transactions, diba? How can going cashless help itong MSME naman to access yung mga financial facilities? Kasi 'di ba, dong MSME na to, lahat sila maliliit na kapitalista nga, 'di ba? And most of them, ang source of funding sila, yung mga underground or informal financial providers like mga 5-6, yung mga umay, 'di ba? And one of the reason because wala silang access sa financial windows na to o sa mga financial institutions is because una ang daming unbanked sila. Why are they unbanked? Ang dami-dami kasi requirements. But because of the tools tulad ng mga PayMaya and other mga apps, they are given the opportunity to have their digital footprints. And yung digital footprints na yon gives them reputation, di ba? Yung mga transactions nila, reputation yan, build up ng reputation mo. Yung digital transactions mo. And that will give them, the financial institutions, confidence to provide these people financial loans. Now, I want you to, can you expound on PayMaya's role in that ecosystem?
Sure. So to answer your question, thanks for that question, very, very timely. Every financial journey comes in bits and pieces in terms of what is needed to help bounce back the business of an MSME. Our role is to help their business flourish. I think that's one of the key things. And when we talk about the extra income is really, extra income streams, the ability to accept cashless, making them a lot more efficient, but also allow and pay suppliers in a cashless way, making their business a lot more efficient. And also, let's just admit it, sometimes yung mga frontliners, may konting security risk, may konting kupit. By going cashless, nawawala rin lahat yon. So, mas secure ang pera, mas mabilis ang ikot ng pera, mas mabilis din ang ikot at ng business. I think that's really where PayMaya plays right now. That doesn't mean to say na yung sinabi mong storya in terms of being able to do a little bit of financial bridging in terms of expanding their business. I think that's something you guys have to watch out for. We will be doing some efforts there. I'm not ready to announce it just yet, so just watch out for that. But when we say those things, we're not just building just a financial account that helps people accept cashless. Every single build of our product, every improvement of our product is really built to improve the MSME's way of doing business. So sa totoo lang, what we're discussing is within the roadmap. What we're discussing is also being able to expand the business, make them flourish, accept financial and payments towards the suppliers, being able to pay government bills a lot easier. So hindi mo na kailangan mamasahe para magbayad ng SSS o pag-ibig. I think these are the things where PayMaya is helping the MSMEs right now.
One of the things you said that off-air, one of the most compelling things that we should watch out for in terms of MSMEs is,
The next phase.
the next phase
Yeah,
of
of
evolution.
e-commerce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the next phase parang lahat sila pupunta na sa digital marketplaces.
Yeah,
But
going beyond the usual e-commerce sites, e-commerce platforms.
they're going out
Sige.
and making their
Sige,
own.
so
Tapos parang how do
go ahead.
PayMaya where do PayMaya comes in?
Yeah, sige. So, Vernon, thanks for that question. What I saw kasi, I spent 10 years in the US bago ako nagbalik bayan dito. So, nandun ako when the e-commerce was rising. I worked for Gap, which is, a retail company. And when I entered there, yung sales nila was at around 3% e-commerce, 97%, offline. 3-4 years after, nasa 20% e-commerce na sila. So napakabilis ng rise within 4 or 5 years. And that is the trend that we're seeing right now also within our country. So when we talk about e-commerce, there's several ways of attacking it. The first one is marketplaces. Nandiyan sila Lazada, si Shopee, si Foodpanda, si Grab. Lahat yan, they aggregate merchants together and helps them do e-commerce. But the next phase of e-commerce will happen and is already happening. Ito yung sinasabi nating sarili mong digital presence. Meaning ikaw mismo, website mo, Facebook page mo, kasi nandyan ang mga consumer mo. And I think that's where PayMaya really helps. We help merchants really enable them to do the next phase of e-commerce kasi we are able to give them the tools and accept online payments to be able to build their own e-commerce. And I think that's where the future will happen kasi napakabilis ng akyat niyan. Sa US, it was Amazon and eBay. Sa Pilipinas, ito mga marketplaces natin. And I think it's good to show na ang mga MSMEs natin are also readying themselves not just for today, which I do believe you should be in all e-commerce channels, whether it's the marketplaces or your own channels, but also readying yourselves in the future. I give one benefit of why that is important. With building your own digital presence, maaalagaan mo ang iyong mga customers o mga repeat customers. Ang mga Pilipino, medyo habitual yan.
Yes.
Pag napansin mo, ang mga ino-orderan mo, siguro mga 5 or 6 restaurants lang. Siguro within 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, true.
So kung ikaw ay MSME, napaka-importante ng bawat customer sa'yo, dapat kailangan mong maalagaan ang bawat customer mo. Kasi sa totoo lang, ang kultura ng Pilipino ay very habitual at kailangan mong buuin ang habit na parang, uy, balik ka dito, suki. So yun, I think is a very exciting trend that I want to share with MSMEs. Big merchants are already doing it. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is a new thing. I'm just letting you know kung anong ginagawa ng mga malalaking merchants natin. At ibaba natin ngayon kasi this is it. Talagang ito na ang new normal, ang next normal, ang better normal.
Ang isa pa nga nakikita ko benefit sa projection mo ng evolution ng e-commerce is kapag yung mga merchants na mismo ang nag-create ng kanilang digital presence is yung level ng supply chain mababawasan. Ito na yung direkta ng kumbaga sa farmers, farm to table na talaga 'to, di ba? Nawala yung mga marketplaces And then kung ako naman producer ako o manufacturer ako or mawawala na yung di ba? Middleman, direkta na ako magbebenta sa direct market ko. So how will that benefit the society as a whole?
So the benefit of society as a whole, the first one is the people producing the products will have direct access to consumers. The same way, Facebook was able to democratize information na talagang yung mga tao, rekta na yung information na send out, etc. But marketplaces still play a role. Don't get me wrong. I think that is an important role that they have to play. What I'm saying, though, is that the benefits towards consumers, the benefits towards merchants, is that there's a lot more choices. I'll go with consumers first. I can order vegetables rekta sa mga farmers from Benguet, which I have tried, And tama naman, mas fresh naman talaga. And I think that's really the fun part of it is I'm able to help them directly. And that's very close to my heart. I buy local, everything is local. So yung local economy natin is also thriving. What we're starting to see now is the ability for merchants naman, so the benefits to merchants, the benefits to those that are actually producing these products and services directly, have direct access to consumers. Ngayon, the how-to is the one that I guess us, PayMaya, DTI, the government, everybody is helping out because there is a learning curve. When I say my learning curve yan, hindi instantaneously na pinost mo sa Facebook, talagang dami ng bibili. May konting education, may konting pag pinicturean mo, kailangan yung picture mo, maganda ang ilaw, hindi katulad ng lighting ko ngayon dito. But generally speaking, nandun yung actual picture. And why that is exciting, at least yung 98% na sinabi mo that our economy runs on MSMEs. This will continue to happen. And I think it will be a lot more exciting as our MSMEs also level up. When these things level up, the choices to consumers are better. Mas fresh ang makukuha natin, mas magagandang produkto ang lalabas. And at the same time, the merchants are able to actually do more things. See the feedback that they get from consumers. Ano ba ang gusto ng mga consumers ngayon? And that for me is a very exciting economy for the next couple of years.
So with that, Sir Raymond, dun sa forecast mo, dun sa, I guess, percentage ng merchants na gumagamit ng PayMaya with all that you said earlier, ano yung forecast mo na growth in the coming at least 12, 24 months because of that? Ano lang?
So, yeah. So, I'll just answer that question in trends. There was the rapid rise of growth during the pandemic. We really thought that it was, obviously we never thought that it would extend. We hope that it would not extend. I don't think anyone is hoping that this pandemic would extend. However, we're still in GCQ. It was just announced yesterday. And the trend, the rapid rise is just not letting out. When I talk about the rapid rise, yung growth na nakita namin 4, 5, 6 months ago is still the growth rate that we're seeing today. So that just tells you that, A, not everybody has shifted into cashless yet. I think there still takes time, right? Not every trend happens overnight. It does take a little bit of time, madami dyan early adopters. But what we're seeing are encouraging figures. The way I would tell that story is actually within my immediate family. Before, ako living the cashless life, my 2 brothers living the cashless life, my fiance living the cashless life. Parents ko, titas ko, never. Talagang love na love nila ang stores. But now, everybody has shifted into cashless. I think for me, if you were to project what the future looks like, just go within your immediate family and you'll realize, even just your own behavior, if you take a look at the January transactions that you did versus the now transactions that you're doing, you probably can interpolate kung ano ang growth figures na nakikita dyan. And it's, I guess for us, we're a little bit of an early adopters. But every single person that has tried cashless will do the exact same thing moving forward. Adoption is key. Retention is key. But the good thing is, pag nagawa mo na once, feeling ko hindi ka na babalik.
Yeah.
Pero 'di ba, pwede naman kang bibisita pa rin sa mga stores and go cashless. QR code mo lang. 'Di ba? Gusto niyo PayMaya.
So, ito naman yung sasabihin ko. In terms of the people doing naman brick and mortar, actually very exciting din ang nangyayari dyan, although somewhat a little bit more strapped. What we're seeing now is more and more retailers adjusting the way we operate. Kung dati, ang focus ng mga retailers at mga restaurants, it's all about the dine-in experience.
Yeah.
Nakita naman natin ngayon, it's all about the drive-in experience. So from dine-in to drive-in, actually, I will do one perfect example, si Yellow Cab, which is a PayMaya merchant. Meron silang tinayong store in White Plains and I was driving by it. Mahilig kasi ako magmotor So, pag drive ko, parang cool, ibang klaseng restaurant yun walang dine-in tables. It's really just an order and pick up and then a drive-through. And I think that's where the evolution of retail would happen as well. And for me, the pivoting and pivot quickly and pivot to learn is something that's quite exciting, but also a little bit challenging. I feel for it talaga. I really can't underestimate na talagang mahirap ang panahon ngayon, especially for MSMEs. However, if you look at every crisis as an opportunity, which you should, you're gonna start to see new retail trends that you can take advantage of. Ito nga yung going e-commerce, allowing for an e-commerce experience. It's the drive-in, the dine-in to drive-in, the in-store to parking lot. I think those trends are some things that the MSMEs should look at as well.
Interesting.
Pero some of the trends na napansin ko ngayon sa mga kasi di ba pwede mag-dine-in yan, di ba? So some of the trends that I'm seeing, pagpasok mo sa sa mga restaurants ngayon is, even the menu, pwede mong i-QR code na lang eh. Diba? Yeah. And even yung fill-up form nila ng for contact tracing.
Yes.
So even yung the MSMEs should adapt sa sa digital trends. Yung mga malalaking brick and mortar stores have also have adapted earlier.
Yeah, they're starting to shift. They're starting to shift.
So maganda 'yon, maganda yung nangyayari. Sabi mo nga, 'di ba? Dire-diretso yung you've noticed for the past 6 months walang let up yung yung rise ng digital adoption, and do you think even post pandemic this trend will continue?
So quite honestly, the first one is, just looking at other countries and what happened to them. The adoption was quick and the adoption stayed. I don't foresee this ever letting out. If you take a look at it, every trend that happens, it's a consumer behavior change. And for me, every consumer behavior is ingrained within 3 months, right? If you're doing something for 3 months, you're going to be a habitual user of it, and then you're just going to be like, okay, it's part of my life now. So I was in marketing before, so that's really kind of like what the consumer insights really told me. However, we've been in this, this GCQ, these quarantines for more than 6 months now.
7
so
months.
To be honest with you, that's really the best answer I can tell you using research and talagang it's gonna stay. I think right now it's more and more people are starting to jump in. Some are earlier than before, some are earlier than others. But for me, this whole it needs, the restaurants needs to be a little bit safer. It needs to be more clean. The hotels needs to be a little bit more clean. Tourism spots has to have contact tracing. I don't think it's gonna let out until we find a vaccine. Hopefully, very very soon. But all these trends will continue on to 2021. So for me, if you own a business, you gotta start adapting to it right now, because I don't foresee this changing, even post-pandemic. Just because the vaccines are there, I don't think people are still gonna go back to normal, because it takes a while. Kasi for me, wala na tayong normal na babalikan. Ito na ang bagong normal. So everyone keeps talking about it, but the stress point to say na this is the new normal, adapt to the new normal, pivot to the new normal is really critical, because if you are a business owner, I think you have to start thinking na talagang I need to adapt the way I move, I need to adapt the way I do business and conduct business.
Yeah, so ang dami pa natin gusto itanong kay Sir about PayMaya, e-commerce, e-wallet, marketplaces,
Cashless transaction,
cashless,
the future,
contactless. But before we do that, magbe-break po muna straight talk. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
And we're back here sa Street Talk. We're still talking about going contactless, cashless, doing digital transactions, and everything else under the digital sun, so to speak, with Sir Raymund of PayMaya and Comfy. May tanong kaya tayo.
Marami tayong natutunan about the importance of going cashless and yung future ng e-commerce. Actually very exciting na you really don't need a brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
Na you can have your own store sa bakuran mo o sa garahe mo, and you can you'll have a wider market reach by going digital.
It helps, especially those who have been long thinking about putting up your own small businesses, pero medyo nag-aalangan leaving their 9-to-5 jobs or whatever because they don't know how.
Mawawala na yung mga mas malaki pang kumita ng mga middlemen.
Oo, mas malaki pa yung kinikita ng middlemen kaysa doon sa profit ng negosyante, di ba? Yeah. So, ayan.
So, ngayon, let's talk naman about PayMaya, especially your area of expertise. Ano ba yung let's tell us more about PayMaya's QR ecosystem and how will it benefit yung mga MSMEs?
Sige, so I've been running PayMyQR for this year, and we launched this product back in 2015. Actually, I'll tell you na it's good na there are two people or two groups that are doing the same exact thing. So nandiyan ang mga competitor friends namin na sila GCash, nandito sila PayMaya. Kasi sa totoo lang, ang hirap ng adoption towards a new way of paying. Ang dating pambayad natin is all about the cash, the wallet, etc. And then the next phase of cashless payments was all about the cards. Napakita ko yung PayMaya card ko. And then ngayon, nakita natin a new way of paying which is rekta na from a phone talaga. And I think that's really what QR payments is all about. It allows people to be a lot more convenient and a lot more, let's just say, a lot more fun in terms of paying. It really arose from the behavior that everybody carries their mobile phone. Most of the time, makakalimutan mo wallet mo, pero cellphone mo, hindi. And that being said, the investment towards the merchant is also a lot less. Pansinin mo, pag merchant ka, you don't need to buy the expensive point-of-sale devices, credit card terminals. Pag small merchant ka, obviously, you can just download the PayMaya Negosyo app and then pwede mo nang i-print yung QR mo. Tapos sakto may cashless payment ka na. So for me, it's both the convenience of the consumer. The two important points for the consumer of why it's beneficial. Number one, contactless is still the safest payments. Pag binabaril mo yung QR mo, hindi ka nakikipag-engage ng rektahan na talagang ito yung pera. So wala talagang contact. You can even do it 6 feet away. I've tried it. So that's one thing. So contactless is also safest. But it's also convenient on both sides. The merchant receives the money instantly. Wala nang barya, wala nang change. And then the consumer is able to tell na kung magkano ang ginagastos niya every single time that you're doing cashless. The last part is a PayMaya exclusive. Mas rewarding, not just to the consumer, but also to the merchant pag nag-a-accept ka ng QR payments. If you are a QR payments ng consumer, meron kaming what we call balikbayad or cashback. We call it balikbayad kasi nga Pinoy eh. Si PayMaya, alam mo naman Pinoy na Pinoy. So balikbayad means cashback means rebate. So if you are a consumer, lagi pong may balikbayad yan. It's either you get a 1% cashback, a 10% cashback, or a 100% cashback from any QR transaction. On the merchant side naman, on the MSMEs, we will be doing merchant incentives, wherein if you accept QR payments, you will get some incentives, which we will announce in the next couple of weeks.
So, Sir Raymond, follow up ko dyan. Of course, we've talked about the convenience, the ease of doing transactions, but what about the security? Because I'm sure marami sa mga gumagamit ng mga apps like PayMaya, yan pa rin yung utmost concern nila because lalo ngayon, using scams, using mga phishing and everything. So, yung iba, online banking, paggising, wipe out na yung cash nila, hindi nila alam how.
Tsaka, Yung information na provide mo when you
and the
register.
data that your users provide you, how safe are those?
So a couple of security features, and I think this is common for not just PayMaya but all other e-wallets. Number one, every transaction that you do within PayMaya, whether it's a bills pay, it's a QR payment, it's a send money, it's a buying from an online store, every single one of the transactions has an SMS notification. And I think that really is critical because if somebody is using your account outside of you. And since we're so close to our phones right now, for me, that's the best security feature. But at the end of the day, it's all about consumer education. Sa totoo lang, security of your financial accounts is not just within the financial institution. Yes, we have a role to play to educate the consumers. We have a role to play. Our systems is very, very secure. Since we are backed by the BSP, Visa, MasterCard, and all of these other guys, we know that our platforms are secure. However, we do try to educate our consumers never to give your one-time PIN to everyone. The good thing is, every single bank, including the e-wallets like ourselves, is educating the consumers to be a lot more careful with their financial accounts. Every financial institution has their own safety measures, security measures to make sure na walang outside force or hackers that can hack into a very, very secure system. However, the consumer education to make sure na wag mong bibigay yung one-time PIN mo, you always have to check the website to make sure that the URL is correct. Those, for me, are the best security measures by being able to prepare yourselves and being able to make sure that you never, ever do these things that will make, these black elements from being able to get access to your account.
So yun, I guess, yung iba din, di ba, nagkakaroon then two-factor authentication, then email, SMS, and yung ibang phones naman pwede thumbprint, fingerprint. So,
How about naman yung data that merchants provide sa PayMaya? How sure are them?
Yeah, the data privacy.
Yung data privacy that the information will not be used by third-party users.
Yeah, so PayMaya is a financial institution first and foremost. So security of data, how we handle data, how we handle consumer information, merchant information, is very close to our heart. At the end of the day, financial institutions, our reputations for being secure is one of the most biggest priorities and one of the biggest pushes in making sure that everything flows through properly. So one thing I can assure you is that, yes, we get all of these security measures for data privacy, for anti-money laundering, for any security measures, for any fraud risks is taken care of by our team. And it's, quite honestly, a big topic for us every single time. And we make sure that these things are secure, safe, and the third one is handled correctly. One of our biggest mottos in PayMaya is not do things right. Right? So when we say do things right, it's not about do things right. It's doing the right things. And then it's a core value that every PayMaya employee does. It's not just about being able to do things the way people are saying we should do things, but at the end of the day, there's a moral obligation because at the end of the day, PayMaya is a Filipino company with the heart of the Filipino right center of it. So it is in our best interest, not just morally, but our civic duty to make sure that we push this whole thing forward the right way. So I guess if I were to portray that, there's a little bit of an emotional attachment to make sure na lahat ng data mo, lahat ng security mo, at ang pagbangon ng Pilipinas is really close to the heart of every PayMaya employee.
So,
may questions
yeah.
pa kayo?
What else can we expect from PayMaya?
Yeah, so I think we're gonna do a series of announcements for MSMEs. I think for Q4, yes, papasok na ang shopping season again. Mga bazaars natin will probably either open at lesser capacity in terms of foot traffic or online bazaars will pop up. MSMEs will continue to come into play. Marami ang bibili for Christmas gifts. So for me, watch out for MSME products, for our business products to help merchants bounce back. So that's what we need to watch out for. In terms naman on the consumer side, I think it's going to be quite exciting. Alam niyo naman si PayMaya, napakaraming promos every Christmas season. So just watch out for those as well. So for me, we're focusing on the MSMEs for the next coming months. So watch out for the announcements there. PayMaya Negosyo, go download it right now para at least early on, you're already part of the critical rewards programs that we're doing. And then for the consumer side, syempre shopping season na ulit. Watch out for the balikbayan promos that we're gonna have.
Okay. So, teka lang, download lang ako. Download lang ako.
So, any last message to PayMaya merchants and loyal users like us?
Users.
I always use PayMaya.
Tina, yung birthday gift mo, sasend ko na lang.
Thank you.
Hindi ko mabibigay sa'yo in person eh. So that's the message talaga. No, just kidding. For me, it's quite a challenging time. And I think, we feel for the Filipino people. We feel for the MSMEs. We feel for the consumers because we're right here with you guys. For me, it's all about making sure that you're able to bounce back, whether you're a consumer or a merchant. But bouncing back doesn't mean that we're just waiting for things to get better. So my main message is actually capture it right now. There are new trends and we're actually spreading the trends right now to make sure that people are able to adjust to the new way of doing business. My main message is jump into it. Jump into the cashless life because this will become the norm. We have seen it before in other countries and it's already happening now. So for me, ability to learn how to do cashless, how to do e-commerce as early as now will be beneficial not just for you as a consumer kasi mas convenient sa'yo ang maging e-commerce, but also for a merchant of how to handle an e-commerce operations. So that for me is the message. Jump in right now while it's early so that you get a competitive edge, but also you enjoy the benefits of it as early as now.
Okay.
And with that,
dami na
ladies
natutunan.
and gentlemen, Mr. Raymund Villanueva,
Villanueva.
Director and Head of Business of PayMyQR Payments and Ecosystems at PayMaya Philippines. So, mga partner.
Maraming
So interesting, no?
Yeah, oo.
So, feeling ko mag-shift na ako sa paggamit ng PayMaya.
Because what we've learned today, na the digital economy is here to stay. The cashless transaction is here to stay as well. And then all these things are happening in front of us. History is happening right now. And the bus is still there. No, we cannot allow ourselves to be left again by the bus. In fact, we have the opportunity by going cashless. We even have the opportunity, sabi nga ni Sir Raymond, is jump in. So if we jump in, hindi lang tayo magiging pasahero ng bus, pero tayo pa maging driver, di ba?
Yes.
So I think we have to adapt quickly. If you are an MSME or even if you're just a simple consumer, it pays to adapt this digital lifestyle na nangyayari ngayon. And today we've thank you very much for Mr. Raymund Villanueva, who gave us a more insight and more in-depth insight into why we should be adopting this digital lifestyle the soonest.
Yeah.
And to not be scared, to not be technophobes.
Exactly.
So again, thank you very much, Mr. Raymond Villanueva.
Thank you.
Thank you also. Once again, I'm Tina Maralit.
And hopefully we can have you again. And
more than happy to. Any topic.
And that's about it for this edition of Straight Talk. Once again, I'm Tina Maralit.
I'm Coffee Manalo.
I'm Raymund Velasco.
See you again next
week. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Kung nga naman, sir, ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap, it's a wrap. Just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the ring apps are the in thing. You know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use. Mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kami natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
yun lang ang babayaran.
Ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.